Hello everyone and welcome once again. What we have done so far, we have covered 3 phases in total. We have reached to a good stage in solving our problem. In the entire DMAX cycle of define, measure, analyze, improve, control, we have covered 3 phases now: define, measure and analyze. And we have not covered them just from the training point of view, we have also built a flow. So at the end of the analyze phase, we should have the validated list of root causes. But if I actually build the overall flow of what we have done so far, is we identified the customer, understood the customer requirement using VOC, converted into a CTQ, prioritize them, put a charter, assign the role and responsibility of each team member, prepared a communication plan, did the stakeholder analysis, and did a high level process mapping. So in the define phase, we launched our project with a team, with a map, with the communication plan, role responsibility and VOC. That's where the define phase was all about. As part of the measure phase, we collected the data, different type of data we collected, which could have been a discrete type of data or continuous type of data. We then prepare a data collection plan, which was called, and then we used the sampling methods to get the right kind of sample. Then we performed some basic statistics on our data. We understood what is the central tendency of the data, like mean, median, or what is the variation in the process, like range or standard deviation. And then we represented our data using some various graphical methods like scatter plot, histogram, box plot or Pareto chart. And then we try to understand how much we are able to meet customers' requirements. So we used the DPMO level or the Sigma level, and then we also understood what type of different process mapping methods we had. We mapped our process to a detailed level to understand how big the problem is, or the process that we have mapped earlier in define phase. We are now trying to map it in a detailed level. So we use swim lane diagram or process or value stream map. So we are trying to understand problem in a much detailed manner. That's what we did in the measure phase. In the analyze phase, when we reached, we had to find the root causes for all the problem that we were facing in the measure phase. So we then did brainstorming sessions. As part of brainstorming session, we put the team together, we gave them some time, then we asked them to write down their ideas on a sheet of paper or on a post-it, give them 10-15 minutes, and at the 10-15 minutes we took the post-it or data from them and then we put it onto the board. We took each idea, we discussed with everyone, and then people started having a brainstorming session around it. Everyone was supposed to be how do I say it? They are supposed to be encouraged, accepted. Their ideas needs to be discussed with everyone. So team will come up with many ideas, which we have to arrange using a method called as Fishbone Diagram, also called as cause and effect, also called as Kaoru Ishikawa, after in the Japanese industry engine, after which it is named. So we can use Fishbone to prioritize the ideas. Then we can use control impact matrix matrix to prioritize the ideas that we have just arranged in the Fishbone. So this way we achieve some state of, now we have a good list of ideas that we have prioritized now, but they were all potential causes, none of them were the actual root causes. So we use a method called as 5-why analysis that will help us to to find the actual root cause of the problem, or from all the potential causes that we have gathered. It will help us to find the actual root causes. So we ask why multiple times, and each time we're asking why, then there's a because comes in. Why? Because analysis also it is called. Sometimes we are able to find the root cause in the first why, sometimes it can take 5th why, sometimes 7th, 8th why also. On an average, it should not go it does not typically go beyond 5 why, as that's why it's called the 5 why. And from the 5 why we get the actual root cause of the problem that is causing it, and then we might get few root causes. And again, if the idea is like either we can look at all the root causes, or if there are couple of more root causes, then we can again do a control impact matrix to prioritize some of them, and then we can go ahead and work on them. So that's what we try to do by the analyze phase. And then we have a toolkit review. So at the end of the analyze phase, we should have the root causes for all the problems that we had faced during the measure phase and the project that was started in the define phase. That's the idea. Now, as part of the improve phase, if you can see my screen, we are talking about some of those things that we are going to do here. Idea of improve phase is to identify the appropriate improvement solutions and address the change management required to implement these solutions. So we are going to look at some of the methods. How do we design a solution? When I say designing solution, it is brainstorming is again going to be very important tool here, because most of the solution will be designed using brainstorming. So as I said in one of the previous sessions, that brainstorming is the key for the entire Lean Six Sigma projects to be driven, because most of the tools and methods are brainstorming. We have a project team and we have multiple stakeholders. We have to make use of these resources. We have to connect with people as much as possible, try to take their ideas into account, discuss these ideas. So brainstorming is going to be a key tool that we shall be using in this entire training program. So brainstorming again going to be, but apart from brainstorming, we shall be looking at various other methods. Some of the methods are Japanese design methods, how to design the solutions. So while we would have designed the solutions, what we must also be doing is we should look at what are the potential risk in a solution that we may identify, and so that we shall assess the risk in the solution that we have just designed, and then we shall also have a mitigation plan. As if there is a risk, how do we mitigate the risk in our solutions? That again we have to look at. And now once we would have designed the solution, we then also would like to pilot the solutions. Now when I say piloting solutions, we may not like to implement the solution in one go itself. We will first like to implement solution in a small scale, which is called pilot, and we'll see how it is performing. We'll take feedback. If change is required, we can correct it. We can change the design, change the parts of the solution that we have built, and then once we do a pilot solutions, then we can change the pilot solution depending on the feedback, and then we should implement solutions on a full scale. Because once you implement solution on a full scale, the impact is very big and you cannot reverse it at times. So it's very important that you first test the solution, how it is working in a controlled, small, standard under standard conditions and small areas, and then we can make changes and we can do a full scale implementation in the final stage. Some of the methods that we are going to use herein, we call it FMEA, failure mode effect analysis, brainstorming, piloting of solutions, 5S, mistake proofing. These are some of the methods I am naming, which we shall be using. Things like benchmarking, standardization. These are some of the methods that we shall be looking at as part of the improve phase, and at the end of the improve phase, the key output that we are looking at targeting is that we should have full-fledged solutions that are working, risk has been assessed, and they have been implemented. So that is what is going to be the key objective of the improve phase. So let's begin. Thank you for watching. This is Shivendra Sharma.